Good morning. My name is Cameron Miller, and this is Trinity Place in Geneva, New York. Comfort, oh, comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem. You hear it? Shh. Listen. We're in the presence of the sacred. Isaiah 40, sacred. Let this be where I permit forgiveness to know your name, the poet, sacred. Marks the beginning of the good news, sacred. The two scripture texts are hallowed, consecrated by the blood of history, peeling away the veil of grief to reveal the face of God, the actual presence of God in history, in life, in us. Comfort, oh, comfort my people. Shh. Listen. Something new is spoken here. By the way, do you believe that something new can happen? Like our poet today who says that she learned to, quote, need the body she spent years trying to rid the world of, that kind of new? Do you allow for the possibility that something that has never happened before, that could happen now or soon or eventually? To you, to us, for the world even? Can it happen? Newness? Comfort, oh, comfort my people. That's what whispers, what cries out from within these sacred texts. Something new is about to happen, maybe even has already begun. The only uncertain thing is whether we are prepared to believe in newness, whether we are even open to the possibility of newness. Can there be something new in the world? Can there be something new in our own little lives? Can something new, unexpected, and never before experienced actually take place in our rote, routine, trapped lives? It's a mumble, a rumor, a rustling whisper. Can we hear it like the quaking in these sacred texts? Can we hear the quaking in these sacred texts like the lost dry leaves of autumn? Shh. Listen for it. A voice cries out. In the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God. This Isaiah is bubbling up after 70 years of exile. For 3.5 generations, they had been deported, enslaved even by their captors, conquerors. For 70 years, the generations had never known their motherland. For 70 years, they had been captive in Babylon and unable to sing the songs of Zion. Shh, listen, something new happened. Suddenly, a voice cried out, build a superhighway from Babylon straight back to Jerusalem, for God is coming to take you home. Your God to take you home. That's what Isaiah heard, what he said. That's how he started his poem. Perhaps we can hear it too. Something new is happening. Maybe began, is already here. Shh, listen. Something new. Do we imagine that there is no connection between Isaiah 40, that voice crying in the wilderness, and the Black Lives Matter and I Can't Breathe movements of our own moment in time? Is our imagination so astonishingly frail that we cannot believe that God is doing something new? Are we so certain of ourselves, of our own two-dimensional perception, that not even our imaginations can be audacious enough to see it or to hear it? Are we so stuck in the delusion that we are the captains of our own destiny that our imagination is anemic? Are we really so taken with ourselves and our limited array of possibilities that we cannot see the newness that is arriving? Shh. Listen. Every valley shall be lifted up, and every mountain and hill made low. The uneven ground shall become level, and the rough places plain. Then the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all people shall see it together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. Go, says the voice. Go and build a way for the people to get back home from exile. Go help them get home. Build the way back, straight back, not zigzagging or crooked. Go help them get home. Go build the way back from exile. Go help them get home. My friends, we are in exile. We're in exile along with millions and millions and millions of other U.S. citizens who have no idea that we're in exile. We have never actually been home. Not yet. In this darkened land of pandemic, in this land of forever shadows of war, in this land where lies are gilded as if facts, a land where pollution is the fee for our high rate of consumption and climate change is the price of rent, where we marginalize anyone that we can in order to retain the power and control in which we have become accustomed. In the midst of this exile, those of us who have heard of Jesus and heard his voice in the wilderness, we know something has begun. Something has started. Newness has arrived. Even in an exile with millions and millions and millions who do not recognize the exile, we can build a highway home. It doesn't even need to be a super highway. It can start out as a road, just a rough little wagon wheel path for now. But one day we can travel it all along with all the others on our way home. So, listen. Do we hear that? Do we hear that other voice? The one we know so well? The one that cannot make room for something new? That voice says, cry out! And when we ask, well, what shall we cry? It says, cry out, all the people are grass. We are like flower in the field. The grass withers, the flower fades. When the breath of the Lord blows upon it, surely the people are grass. This familiar voice in our heads, the one that does not believe in real possibilities and the possibility of something new, complains, well, what's the use? They have all the power, the ones who lie, the ones who embezzle, the ones who will do anything to make a buck and keep it, the ones who will do anything to keep what they have. What is the use? That voice has a litany of facts to wear us down and keep us low to the ground. We keep making the same old mistakes. We keep committing the same old sins, confessing the same old failures, doing what we ought not to done, and leaving undone a hell of a lot that we should have done. What is the use? We live, we die, and in between we work. What's the use? It will never be different. It will never be better. We know that voice well. It's as close as the light on our nightstand. Shh. Listen to the other voice. It's closer, if quieter. It says, no, no. You get up to the high mountain. You lift up your voice with strength. Become a herald of good tidings. Lift up your voice. Do not fear. Say to the people, here is your God. Listen to that voice. Not only are we the builders of the highway, we are the heralds to announce the way home. It all comes down to this. Can we do something new? Can we imagine that God can do something new? Can we imagine that God can do something new even with us personally, even with us nationally, even in the world of hurt and crisis we live in? Or can we only imagine inside the box we live in? Can we only imagine everything to be known is already known, everything to be done has already been done, everything to expect has already happened, nothing new is possible, this is it, play it out, this is all there is? If we can imagine newness, we can begin looking for it. We are the builders of the highway home. We are the heralds of those who live in exile with us. If we do not see the newness, if we do not follow it, if we do not announce it, then I assume that God is going to go elsewhere to different people who are able to imagine the newness. So shh. Listen. It's all right there in the text of Isaiah, whose voice announced the return from exile. It's there in the text of Mark, whose voice announced the beginning of something new, very new. It's in the poet's voice who learned and backed up into the wilderness where forgiveness is found. It is there in the text of your life too. There, in the text of your life. God has written all over it. It may be time to get out that text and read it again with new lenses. So, listen. There's a new front moving in. It's moving into your life. It's moving into your city. It's moving into your state. It's moving into your country. It might be even moving into the world. Where once we feared the worst, where once we could only grieve our losses, where once we had only to despair our exile, something new is happening. Listen. Listen for it. It is our highway to build. It is our good news to herald. It is our newness to imagine. There you go for 2 Advent. I want to thank you for being part of Trinity Place today. I hope that this brings you some small degree of growth, wellness, healing. And I hope that it brings you some touch of peace. Thanks for being with us, all, man.